Hey there everyone, it's me Idoall, and as the year's coming to a close, I thought that I would send out a quick video. Haven't uploaded in a bit, but after this year I've watched a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube, but over that time I usually feel that I've found at least a couple things that I find interesting, and I feel I want to share along to you guys. So over this video, it's not necessarily in any order, it's not like a ranking, but these are the 5 videos that I kind of found this year and I thought were amazing, and then a handful of creators that I think are a little smaller than they deserve to be and deserve to be kind of seen more out there because of their amazing creation. So without further ado, here's the top 5 videos I like this year and my top 7 creators.
This is Seymour Quakemire, sitting in for Geraldo Peterson. It's looking like a chance of flash flooding in the Fairview area this evening, but we do not want to let that keep you down. So here's a sunny tune to keep you dry.
Starting us off is the short film Flash Flood by Dan France. Now, I actually came along this video a bit earlier. It has just under 2,000 views, but I think that it's probably one of my favorite short films out there. It's about a minute and a half, so if you have a minute and a half to spare, and let's be real, you totally do, I cannot recommend this enough. I don't really want to give away what happens in it, but basic synopsis is you just kind of follow this construction worker going around doing some business while you hear this radio announcer in the background, and it gets weird and cool, and I love it. Next up is Capturing Donald Glover's Motion by Pino Dita. Now, this actually did get pretty popular online, so if you haven't seen it yet, Pino Dita creates a lot of really interesting stuff with Apple computers and floppy disks and old technology like that. So if you're interested in that at all, I cannot recommend it enough. It's a 4-minute video, kind of deals with This Is America, Donald Glover. Again, don't want to give too much away, but it is fascinating to watch. Cannot recommend it enough.
The Problem with Apu is a 2017 made-for-TV documentary by comedian Hari Kondabolu, the subject of which being Apu, a secondary character from the long-running animated sitcom The Simpsons, who runs a store called the Quickie Mart and exists adjacently to our protagonists, the Simpsons family. Mr. Kondabolu's assertion is that Apu is actually a harmful stereotype of the Indian ethnicity. Additionally, many online news outlets have echoed this opinion and published articles of a similar sentiment. And thus, something of a social movement began, lobbying for the character to be removed from the show entirely.
The third video on this is The Apu That I Know by Hot Diggity Demon. Now, if you don't know Hot Diggity Demon, he's kind of well known for his animations, but more recently, he's gone into this really interesting series called Brain Dump, where he talks about different series. Really recently, it's gotten quite meta, which is kind of funny, but he has this phenomenal 45-minute video that discusses the Problem with Apu documentary, problems that he has with it, and actually gives a really interesting look at the subject from somewhere that he fully acknowledges a white guy probably doesn't have the right to say. However, here's his opinion on the topic. It's really interesting, and it's a really well-made video from someone who clearly enjoys The Simpsons, enjoys the characters, and can look past a lot of initial things that might put people off just on a surface level, but he's able to dive deep, really dig into characters, and show that you can't necessarily dumb them down to just a stereotype or just this, because that does actually, in a way, make you the one that's reducing them to that stereotype.
Look, Professor! That dog is enormous!
Wrong again, Luke.
What do you mean, Professor?
As I suspected, what appears to be a larger-than-average dog is actually a hologram projected from an orbital satellite.
This one's just kind of stupid. I love ProZD. He, when he's not reviewing food for some reason, he's making really interesting, fun, short videos and sketches. A lot of times he can do amazing voices. I've seen him do tons of different voice acting for things. He was on Rocket Jump's Anime Crimes Division, which I watched the shit out of, which was amazing. But this is just kind of a 1-minute quick video that I really enjoyed because I really like the Professor Layton series. video games. So seeing him kind of do in joke with that about how ridiculous some of these explanations can get and how casually some people mention it is a really interesting thing to see. So if you want a quick laugh, I highly recommend having this in your back pocket.
I'm gonna tell you something they don't want you to know. I'm gonna tell you something they don't want you to know. They don't want you to be happy.
Lastly is a video with a somewhat off-putting title. It's I Almost Killed Myself Before I Could Finish Making This Video. Kind of heavy. It's by Scotch. It's this really interesting 2.5-minute video that has a really kind of nice deep message. Some people might kind of read into it a bit and see it as kind of a complaining thing or this or that, but I like to kind of see it as this cry that a lot of times people are kind of forced into different boxes, and a lot of times people enjoy feeling that there's someone beneath them. So Scotch kind of does play up this concept of us and them a bit, but if you kind of look past that and look at more the inner heart of what the video is saying and how a lot of people just kind of need to realize that not everything has to be so personal and you have to kind of learn how to be your own person, then I think it's a really, really good video that I recommend seeing if you kind of need a little pick-me-up or inspirational thing to let yourself feel a bit better. Now the second half of this, I'm going to be doing a quick countdown to some of my favorite creators of the year, starting off with number 1, Lumen. Lumen is a music creator that I found on YouTube and has an abysmally low subscriber count for how good the quality of the stuff he puts out is. In fact, right now you can't really see how many subscribers he has. He seems to have a larger following on Instagram and does play different venues. But one of his more recent songs called Bury You Deeper, which has actually become one of my favorite songs of the year, is sitting at about just under 400 views, which is insane for some reason because how good quality the music is and how much time and love he really puts into all his work. So highly recommend that you check out some more Lumen.
It's too late to try. So I'm bury deep.
The second smallish creator that I really enjoy is Andy. Andy is kind of a shit poster of sorts, but he actually does some really interesting videos. Some of them are really short and were just kind of made in under a minute or so, it seems, but a lot of them are actually really interesting, kind of funny meta sketches. He's done this one thing where his one video that got really, really big where he sings Tequila in a bar, the karaoke version, and it's painfully awkward to watch. Tequila! But it's so entertaining, so I can't recommend enough that you check out some of Andy's kind of insane work. C4D4U is a creator that specializes in 3D animation and physics testing and stuff. He's done this ongoing series where he kind of makes this jelly Tetris thing and he simulates a lot of soft body objects. It's the most satisfying channel, I think, on this entire list to watch and see these things that are getting more and more realistic looking and acting, and you can just kind of feel like you could reach out and touch the stuff that he's made. It's such a good thing to just watch and let yourself kind of feel satisfied by it. There's no other word for it. It's kind of a complex name, which is maybe why not as many people have found him, but personally I find him fascinating, and he's sitting around 62,000 subscribers, which in my personal opinion is way too low for the quality of content that this guy is putting out. 98DMake, I guess, kind of qualifies as an animator of sorts. He does these phenomenal things where he takes modern day video games and regresses them into a form where they look like they would have been released back in the 90s. He's done games from Minecraft to Portal to GTA, but he also releases these really trippy, interesting indie games on Steam and such, where they're bizarre to explain. They're kind of these dark, weird experiences to go through, but they all have this kind of strange found footage VHS aspect to them that is phenomenal. He's at about 250,000 subscribers, but he is probably one of the most underrated YouTubers that I've seen out there, because no one that I talk to seems to know this guy, but when they find his channel, everyone just loves the stuff he puts down, and I guarantee you will too. Kensuke Koike is a bizarre channel that I love because it's so weird. He or she, I'm not quite sure, is only at about 5,000 subscribers right now, even though I'm going to say art that they create is so fascinating. they do this really interesting thing with a lot of the channel is focused around old photographs and manipulating this and little kind of almost physical editing tricks that you would kind of see someone do in Photoshop. There's no voice, a lot of it's quite abstract, but if you ever want to see a lot of really kind of mind-bendingly interesting videos, then I cannot recommend Kensuke enough to anyone. Paper Skies is a creator that's sitting just shy of 1,000 subscribers. He is a really interesting guy. He makes amazing music and also is a fantastic graphic designer. I really enjoy a lot of his work. He recently did something that was featuring Skyleaf, but my personal favorite of his is Flare. Some of you may or may not recognize it, but he deserves way more credit than a lot of the time he's given, because I've seen countless times where this guy puts out an amazing song and then it gets immediately copied and put on some other NCS or EDM channel. So go to the source of this stuff and find who I guarantee will be one of your favorite creators from then on. Finally on this list, there's a comedy duo called Chris and Jack, who are currently just shy of 90,000 subscribers. They're kind of in the same vein of Jack and Dean, the British comedy duo, and it blows my mind that a channel that's under 10k subs is putting out the quality of content that they are. They have mind-bogglingly high production quality on the same level as Tomska or other sketch creators on the site. Everything that they do is so funny and so well thought out. The writing is just pristine, and I guarantee you're going to find something that will make you roll on the ground with how hard you're laughing at these guys. Cannot recommend them enough. One of my favorite videos that I highly recommend checking out is Wormhole Monocle, which is bizarre and funny and just amazing. And that's it. That's the list. I really hope a lot of you guys found some new creators that might be your favorites on here. I know that I cannot recommend these people to enough people. They are all phenomenal creators, and from my understanding, people as well, no matter how strange or obscure a lot of the information on them might be. I really, really think that people need more recognition when they're putting out as good quality content as these guys are. And this video was kind of inspired by Austin McConnell's, but down below, all of these channels and the videos that I showed will be linked if you're interested in checking them out, giving them a subscriber that they so badly deserve. But yeah, those have been all my favorite videos of the year. If you want, comment down below with some of your favorite videos of the year. I'll check them out, and who knows, maybe even come back on you guys with like a part 2 to this video. Thank you very much for watching, and with that, Idoall out. Happy holidays, everyone.